Hello everyone, Chaz in Omaha here. I started a new character on a different server recently, just to do something fun. I went with Froglock, Bow, and Pet Abomination, our classes being Ranger, Mage, and Shaman. We just wanted to see the effectiveness of using a bow with a pet. At around the same time, new revamps of Crushbone and Splitpaw were introduced into the beta. Since the timing was so perfect, we decided to level all the way from 25 to 41 in Splitpaw the entire time to get the full experience. Splitpaw is surprisingly large, with several fairly distinct sections to hunt in. Most sections have a ton of base caster enemies, meaning Enchanter, Necromage, or Wizard classes. This means there are a lot of damage shield and haste buffs going around, but it also means that half the mobs have very low HP pools. Unfortunately, this zone also has a few sections with tons of base cleric mobs. This is objectively terrible for leveling. It can leave you perma-stunned if you have more than one at a time, with no way to kick two heals at once unless you have a strong CC class like Enchanter or Bard. Overall, my opinion of the dungeon is quite divided, depending on what section I was in at the time. Since the different areas felt like such a different experience, I'm going to give a rundown of each of the 7 different areas that I've identified. It's likely I have missed a name spawn or two, as I was exploring this place completely blind. Let us know in the comments if there are any I missed, especially if they have good drops. Section 1. The Entrance. The enemies range from level 26 to 30. I located one named in this area, the Nishmas Mender, level 30. You start in a narrow hallway that quickly opens up westward into 2 larger subsequent rooms. It's pretty easy to only fight 1 or 2 mobs at a time in this area, even without pacify effects. The one named in the area, the Nishmas Mender, he drops a Cap of Mending. It's a fairly mediocre but not terrible headpiece. He also drops the Mishmal Ikvel Shield, which has Mana Pres 2 focus effect on it. The spawn rate on this name seemed quite high, like maybe 80% or higher. This felt like a very strong start for loot, as this shield's focus effect is helpful even at level 50. It also means that anyone starting with one of the 3 priest classes in their trio can get Mana Pres from here, instead of the dumpster fire that is currently running high. I would rate this area a 9 out of 10. The only healer I remember encountering is the named. I don't recall any pain points, and it has an absolute banger shield drop. Section 2. The Early Middle. This area ranges from level 30 to 32 mobs. I found 0 named in this area, which is quite disappointing given the rather exaggerated dead ends in a few spots. This area starts as you cross the jagged bridge. Follow the hallways behind each door either south or west after mobs go up in level to 32-ish. This area is really easy to train yourself due to cramped, twisting hallways with lots of doors. Sometimes multiple cleric mobs in a pull. This is further exacerbated by having wizard, necro, enchanter, and wizard casters mixed in that keep you rooted frequently. The non-healer casters are normally great due to super low health pools, but when mixed with clerics that stun, they are quite irritating. I rate this area a 4 out of 10. This was easily the worst part of the dungeon for me. It has many cleric mobs. It's just several incredibly tight corridors with doors and spawns at wacky angles. Section 3. The Late Middle, Part 1. Enemies here ranged from level 33 to 37. I found one named here, a Teshval Brute, which is level 37. This area starts with a largish bridge room, which then wraps around westward to a dead-end cave-like room where the Brute resides. Overall, this area felt way better to level in. It's less claustrophobic and thus way easier to not train yourself easily. There are a few pulls with double cleric mobs possible. Pacify would make your life a lot easier. There are also 1 or 2 patrols, but that never really bothered me. The one named here, a Teshval Brute, his spawn rate was noticeably lower than the Mender in Section 1, but maybe still above 50%. He drops the Brutish Breastplate, a Warrior and Knight Breastplate with 24 AC and 7 Stam at D0. This BP is so good that I think coming back here at a later level to get a +4 version would be pretty worth it. He also drops the Torn Ear Thumper, a 2-handed blunt that starts at a 1530 at D0. It is an excellent weapon for monks since they have very high 2-handed blunt skill. I really like this drop as it's a super strong nod to the monk class and I'm quite biased. I'd rate this area a 7 out of 10. The potential for double cleric mobs here can be painful, but this is offset by a much more open layout with two really strong drops from the named. Section 4. Late Mid Area, Part 2. The enemies here range from level 33 to 38. The two named I found here are both level 38, making it slightly higher than the Brute section. I differentiated this area from the Brute section mostly because, even though the levels are similar, the mob count between the two areas would be unrealistic to keep cleared at level. Also, this area has almost no clerics. The section branches off almost immediately from Section 3, going northeast. It's just a few oddly shaped hallways with several rooms and mobs at the end of each. In the northwest corner, we have Roshval Olvor, a 38 mage. This guy has crap loot. On the bright side, he has very little HP as a magician and folds quite quickly. He drops looted channeler gloves, mediocre caster gloves, and the nullhide tome. It sucks kinda bad. Minus 10 strength, not so great. In southeast corner, we find Nishval Torash Mask, a 38 cleric. He drops Devlus Ikvel, a melee shield. This shield is fairly decent any slot for a first trio. Also drops Tesh Valsanish, a shaman spear that kinda sucks. I'll give this area an 8 out of 10. These mobs are easier to kill in general, and only one named for clerics, but the drops are very disappointing compared to Section 1 and 3. Section 5. End Area, Part 1. Enemies here are level 36 to 40. I found 3 named in this area, level 39 or 40. You access this area from the southernmost door in Section 4. You then go down a winding hallway with a ramp downwards at the end. This runs you into a tricky door. It can only be opened with a lever that is somewhat hard to see/target from the side you start on. Beware the wacky tiny room that opens with a lever in the hall, you can get trapped. Once you get through the tricky door at the bottom of the ramp, you are in a large room that extends for quite a ways southwards. Then finally you come to more structured halls with the 3 named spawns. This is probably the fastest area for EXP, as this section covers a large area with no clerics, but it has tons of necro, enchanter, mage, and wizard mobs that have approximately 10 hit points. I legit insta-gived many mobs here with 1 mage nuke, the follow-up bow shop, and my pet's initial round. We have the one-eyed gnoll, level 39. He has 2 eyes. I don't know what the deal with that is. He spawns at the bottom of a ramp, just before the southern structured hallways. All he drops is a quest eyeball called the Gnoll's Eye. I think it's for a quest called the Gnoll Slayer quest. He doesn't seem to drop anything else. Then we have the Ulteth Val Scribe, also level 39, who drops the other half of the same quest, the Journal of Greater Enchantment. He also doesn't seem to drop anything else. Lastly, we have the Teshval Kadvem, level 40. He spawns in the final room of this section. He might have a strange respawn time. He didn't seem to respawn in the same rhythm as normal mobs in his room. He drops Vakra Avsvim, secondary only one-handed slashing, 1131 with some AC, strength, wisdom, and agility. This is slightly better ratio than the Baron's Blade at equal upgrade level. He also drops Ancient Earthen Vambraces. These are pretty mediocre arms. Overall, I'd give this area a 9 out of 10. I'd probably rate it a 10 out of 10 if 2 of the 3 named didn't drop only old quest items. Section 6. End Area, Part 2. Enemies found here are level 39 to 43. I found 2 named here, both are level 43. This area starts directly north of Section 3 with the Brute. You'll almost certainly have noticed it while there, as the Executioner is constantly fighting and killing some lower level guy over there. We have the very small Executioner, level 43. This guy is a bit annoying, as his HP resets if you kill the guy he's fighting. Because the guy he beats up runs, this can possibly train you if you aren't careful. He drops very small Great Axe, a 2-handed slashing 2652 at D0. It's basically the same as the 2-handed blunt from Brute, but slashing. He also drops the Varish Bracer of Dominance. Quite a strong chain bracer. You will likely equip this if you can wear it. Then we have Teshval Dval Mak, level 43. This guy is found in the northeastern room of this area. He drops a thick amber potion most of the time, which is a greater healing, instant click, 1 charge, and temporary. He supposedly has 2 other rare drops I never saw, but both are pretty mediocre and super rare. I'd give this area a 7 out of 10. The only clerics are the judges near the executioner that can be completely avoided if you have pacify. Many of the further north mobs are enchanter, necromage, or wizard that fall over very quickly. However, the weird interaction with the executioner RP fight combined with the strange mob formation around him put me off quite a lot. Section 7, End Area, Part 3. Enemies here range from level 41 to 43, with the main boss being 45. I found 2 named in this area, levels 42 and 45. To reach this area, you need to swim through a hidden water tunnel around the middle of Section 5. This area is pretty small, and I think you'd clear it out too fast pretty easily much past level 41. This area can also have several cleric mobs spawn near and in the room with the Ishfamal. First we have Apprentice Ishfamas, he's level 42. This guy's room is pretty annoying because the door and the enemy angles makes it hard to pacify, which is amplified by the fact that most enemies here have pets that need further pacifying to not pull all at once. He drops the Apprentice Heretic Ring, not very good at D0 with minus 10 stamina, but upgrades remove minus stamina, so it might be good enough to wear with several upgrades. I never saw this guy's rare drop, I'm guessing. I have no idea what it might be, and the EQ Legends wiki has no page for him yet. Tell us in the comments below if you have seen it. Lastly, we have the Ishfamal, level 45. He drops Sandals of the Ishfa. Unfortunate. Who is going to wear cloth gear in this game? I never saw other potentially rare drops here either, but the EQ Legends wiki says he can drop the Robe of the Ishfa that has mana, charisma, and SP poison, and a Potion of Serious Healing, which is a complete heal potion. If this potion does drop, I assume it would be Promise Renewal, and it would be pretty cool to find. I'll give this area a 5 out of 10. It has awkward angles for pacifying, cleric mobs, and not great drops. It also doesn't have quite enough spawns to stay here much longer than level 41.